So basically, Nigerians want internet, and whether it's for mobile phones, whether it's for entertainment, for health, for other amenities, for other uses, for business, for work. Well, they want internet, and practically everything is about internet. Yes, from entertainment, from the movies, to health, to the to the economy. Data is the use of data cannot be overemphasized. And but the truth is that just despite that, Nigerians want quick and affordable internet, fast and affordable internet, and we can't take it away that if you are an internet user, you know that sometimes with the use of many other our subsisting data plans and networks in Nigeria, we know how frustrating they can be. And Nigerians will always clamor, for more internet, more quick internet, fast internet with fast speeds, and also something that's very affordable, and hence they clamor for alternate types of networks, for data and all that in Nigeria. It's something that I'm sure we're not unused to. It's something that we experience in our everyday lives. Tosin Aribisala, thank you so much for joining us. Remotework reporter.
Thank you so much.
Olajutemu,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about data this afternoon. And
Thank you.
New entrants. Before we go ahead, Nigerians and the clamor for data. Yemi, you have something to speak about Nigerians and the clamor for affordable, fast, speed internet data.
I have. It's very, very, very hard for many of us to imagine a world with instant and unlimited internet access. If you look very critically to the growth of computers and digital life globally, you would realize that at every 10 years, digital world computer has every one new thing or the other to offer the global population. So in the 1970s, we have the mainframe computers. In the 1980s, we have the mini computers. And 1990, we have workstations. By 2010, by year 2000 rather, we have desktop computers. 2010, you have laptops who all over offices and workplaces. Now we are in the era of smartphones, where data is life. So these days you have smartphones, you have Bible gadgets, and I'm pretty sure that in the next 10 years, or within the next 10 years, by 2030, so to say, you have digital robots. You have robots taking over different kinds of works that are supposed to be done by human population. So I want to believe that digitization in the next 10 years will not be limited to wired or wired internet or traditional providers of the internet. So the introduction of the 5G, virtual reality, VAR, and some other things would make life more easier. And don't forget, we have the likes of AI, led by the Google, ChatGPT, and others. These are people that are pushing the connected economy these days. And I want to be sure that in the next 10 years, data will be like food. And looking at Starlink, looking at Project Kuiper, these are opening the eyes of the world population to the fact that we will get to a stage whereby you cannot do without data. You cannot do without getting connected to people from remote areas.
Tosin, I don't know if you have comments also before we start to look at some of these internet facilities and networks.
Yes. When you talk about accessing the internet on a daily basis in Africa, and I think we are moving, gradually moving, as Olayemi has said, that the adoption of technology, in the 1970s, when we have mainframe computer, and we have so many historical background to that. But at the same time, when you look at our independence, particularly in Nigeria, and with that of the four Asia tigers that consist of, I think, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore, you discover that these people started from the scratch. And when it comes to technology, these are countries, including Sweden. These are countries you can, easily refer to when you talk about US, United Kingdom, and other, developed country. These are the countries that started from the scratch in the 1960s. And look at where they are today. So my own argument is that as far as we can, agree that we are gradually moving, but I still want to affirm the fact that we need to accelerate our speed in the adoption of technological, trends. Things are going, in the developed world. We should as well go by it. People are getting married online, but a typical Nigerian parent wants you to come from United States to come and do your intro, get yourself introduced. Not even the wedding now.
Okay, the introduction.
Yes,
and all that.
And even the introduction, they want you to come. If it is, you are talking about engagement, another thing, physical, person to person approach can be is excusable. But when it comes to introduction, the typical Nigerian parent wants you to come around. Whereas up there, you can do your thing without you coming. So my own charge is we just need to up our games in adopting technological, exploit technology generally, phone, anything. We just need to up our games and be fast in at embracing them. That's my own point.
Now, well, we'll talk about data, and I know that one thing is very certain: Nigerians want data. Everybody wants data. I have some data with me that says at the start of 2023, that's this year, there were 122.5 million internet users in Nigeria. 122.5 million internet users. People who use the internet in this country.
Bamidele.
Yes.
Bamidele, can you hear me?
Please go ahead, Yemi.
Sorry, before you go to that level, I want to quickly add to what Tosin said.
Please go ahead.
If you look at the world set, the world is adopting the 10 pillars of the connected economy. Talking of banking, health, we talk of communication, we talk of security, we talk of games, happy life, we talk of commerce and remote works. All of these are done online to reduce poverty, to reduce levels of dependence. And when you see all these countries that, just like Tosin said, there are 5 stages of digital development of any state, of any country. We have the resisting stage, that is digital resistance. We have the digital explorers. We have the digital players. We have the digital transformers, and we have the disruptive digital technologies. So, Africa, Asians, Pacific, the Pacific and the Caribbean, we are still at the stage of technological resisting and technological exploring.
So what you're
I
saying
don't know if you understand my point.
What I'm trying to get you.
When you look at Western countries, the average Western countries, they are in the level of technological transformers, technological players, and the technological disruptions. So many countries, if you look at them today, just like Tosin said, things are fast changing, and it is not surprising that you see Amazon with all the products that it pushes out, does not have a physical store, just one store like this. Amazon does not have it. Very popular Uber transport giant, doesn't have a single car also. I don't know if you understand my point.
Yes,
Netflix,
I quite get you.
Films and all of that, they don't have a single TV channel. Alibaba does not have inventory. Facebook does not create content, and you can begin to mention from now to tomorrow, Bitcoin too. Bitcoin does not have a single coin that it says, but these are, firms. These are companies that pushes out that push the word connected economy. So one major problem that I see is that Africans, the third world countries, I'm talking of Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and
Third
the
world
Caribbean,
countries, yeah.
need to be well prepared. Because if we are not prepared, the fourth industrial revolution will just sweep Africans, will just sweep the third world countries away.
Now, while I get you, it's fair enough, with that data, with the analysis you just gave, we know that we have to join the developing countries. We don't have a choice now. It's either we join the train or be left behind. Everything is going digital, just like Tosin elucidated earlier on. Everything is the internet, the way Internet of Things, the internet, yes, is taking over. But at some point, we look at some of the hindrances, to the internet, and I read earlier on the data I have with me, it's important for us to note that as we speak, we have 122.5 million internet users in Nigeria. Okay, we look at our population of over 200,000, between 200,000, 220 thereabouts, but we have people that use the internet, almost 122.5 million. Now, 55.5% of the entire populace, is put at 221.5 million. So we look at we still have some more work to do to get people connected more to the internet. But before we even go to that narrative of wanting people, those who are still active social media users, 31.60, according to data that I have, 14.3% of the entire population. Now, what this means is that we only have only 14.3% of Nigeria's total population are even active social media users. Now, when we look at the narrative of, I don't want us to look at what we've not done or what we've not been able to achieve, or those who have not been able to, join the train of internet users in the country. Now, those ones that are active social media users, are they getting their money's worth for the data that they have? Whether we like it or not, even that it's still 14.3% of the total population of Nigeria that use social media, that are on the internet at all times, have been described as active users. They are on the internet for almost 20 hours per day. When you have 14.3% of your entire population, on the internet 20 hours a day using data, whether we like it or not, these companies that are supplying internet to that 14.3% are going in for the killing, because when you buy data, for you to be online 20 hours of a day, you must have spent nothing less, according to research, nothing less than at least 2 gigabytes of data in a 20-hour period. And when we do the math, and on MTN and other networks, you buy data for a gigabyte as little as 500 naira for a gigabyte. And we have 14.3% of the population every day on the internet, and each of them spends 2 gig minimum a day. That's about 1,000 naira. When you multiply that by the amount of persons that use data, that buy data per day, you can see that these networks are making a killing of Nigerian markets. They're making a huge. Okay, the research here says that Nigerians, internet subscribers in Nigeria consume over 80,000 terabytes. That's 80 million gigabytes of data per month. And that's authoritative. That's coming from Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. The executive vice chairman himself, Professor Umar Dambata, says Nigerians, the internet subscribers in Nigeria, that's that 14.3%, consume over 80,000 terabytes of data per month, 80 million gigabytes. So tell me why, you can see now why, despite how small that population is that consume data in the country, you can see why networks will not want to let go. We can see why people pay so much for these licenses at NCC. It's a huge market. And people will continue to buy data from our main networks. Outside of Lagos and Ibadan, it's basically the telephone network providers that offer data services. You know, in Lagos, places like Lagos, you can get other internet providers. But outside of Lagos, some of these companies don't have their roots. They don't have their roots outside of Lagos and Abuja, the big cities. So when you take away maybe in comparison, cities like Abuja, Kano, Lagos, Port Harcourt, 4 or 5 of them, then or your state, Ibadan, let's say that's 5 of them. You can see that there's a huge market for all these telephone networks outside of these 5 cities. There is money to be made from the internet. Nigerians consume data, but the truth is that are Nigerians really getting their money's worth for the data they consume? When you take into cognizance poor structures, power outages, the vandalization of the networks and all that, we couldn't even conduct at some point going towards our 2023 presidential elections. There were concerns, if you guys remember, there were concerns even by the Senate about electronic voting because there were concerns that there was no internet connection in some parts of our country. Do you remember that narrative? Do you remember that
Yes,
at the floor
yes,
of the Senate,
sir,
that debate about electronic voting, and that only NTC has only managed to cover maybe 60% of the country, with data. So, and that's the real argument today. Ask ourselves, okay, so it's a huge market. It's a huge market, and other companies that are not in Nigeria are starting to look towards the Nigerian market. The money is to be made. So if I, a service provider in, let's say, America or in Britain or in UK, if I have analyzed all of this and I realize that Nigerians, if you know how Nigerians were always fanatical about new things and all that, we want data. Nigerians are one of the most active social media users. If they are not working, they are on social media apps, they're on social media, they are one of the most active persons on social media. So it's a huge market. It's a huge market. But let's look at, because I think this narrative, the blue pill, red pill, and we see the entrance of 2 major players in this market, that it's raising a lot of excitement, these 2 major players.
Let me quickly put this to you.
Please do, with all pleasure.
I want you to know that although you said we should not talk of what we face to do as Africans or as Nigerians, but at the same time, I want you to look at it in this way, that there is much to be done.
Okay.
Even in the parts of Nigerian citizens and Nigerian government, because many of us pay big services to technological advancement.
Okay.
If you look at the current, let me not say current, but the recently experienced cash crunch in Nigeria, it was not as if that the cash did not go around, because a lot of people paid to receive transfer from people. They don't want online transaction. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Bank transfers that were made and credits were not made, reversals and all that.
In the country, and poor networks by the providers. We have issues of relating to fund reversal. You have transaction disappearance. You have people who made it worse. The digital resistance. Nigerians are digital resistance. And technology, they are only exploring the internet. They are not doing anything to transform to be a major player in the world technological trend. So, but thanks to different organizations, now we have there is recent year platform in Lagos, an area that was set aside for technological skills, for technological activities. Thank God for the likes of DTO organization, foundation, training the young ones to make them transformers, not just exploring the digital life. You understand? A lot, when you said it the other time that people, they use data, they go to the internet, they are social media, they are just exploring the promises of the internet. But what are you contributing to digital trends, the contemporary digital trends in the world? So I think if you look at the time of the cash crunch, you know that it was that time that the likes of OPay, PalmPay, Kuda, MoneyPoint, and all the online banking this thing, all the online
platforms and
banks,
portals.
yes, they came into emergence and they became so popular. So we as Africans, we as Nigerians, we need to move from resisting the technological trend. We need to move from just exploring to a point whereby we become a major player in the world technological distance. So we just have to thank God for, Africans and Asians, we need to thank God for the likes of the satellite companies like SpaceX, Starlink, and the Kuiper projects by. So these are things that will bridge the technological divide between the government and the global south. Because with Starlink, you can afford unlimited data. You can unlimited internet access, fast broadband, affordable to communities around the world. And if you, according to researchers, we have 37% of the world population that are currently unserved or underserved by the traditional internet communication option.
I think that's worthy of
it is
commendation.
very, very although for me, Starlink is blazing the trail, and I don't want to talk much on Project Kuiper because it has still not come to emergence. It is futuristic. Yes, I don't want to talk more. But Starlink launched 2015. It has continued to make some trends and make the Internet of Things realizable to the world population.
Now, while I agree with you, Yemi, about Starlink and it's coming into, I think if you know Nigerians very well, if you understand Nigerians, we spend so much of our time comparing prices, to understand why do I need to be A or B? Why do I need to buy A? What are the merits of A? What are the gains of A? What are the merits of B? What are the gains of B? Now, one thing we must not let out of the picture is that we spoke about, as much as Nigerians want high-speed data, they also want affordable data. We must not let go of that fact. They want affordable data. You talked about Starlink now. We're not going to go so much because we know that Elon Musk was made by it's from Elon Musk's company, and the SpaceX we talked so much about it. It's the talk of the news. Starlink will revolutionize the way the internet, we serve the internet, with speeds up to 1 gigabyte, per second and all that. Fine, so good. It's like it's a dream come true for many companies and many organizations or individuals that move large data, per second, that do real-time programming, live networking like we are doing now. We need data for that. But how cheap, how accessible, how affordable is Starlink? That's another big question, that we always have to ask ourselves. Okay, Starlink, all well, all fine, all good, but how affordable is Starlink to the average Nigerian? Let's say the average civil service at the ministry in the state. Let's say the average civil servant in the ministry in Lagos, a school, organizations, corporate bodies in Lagos and all that around the country. Is Starlink affordable? Tosin.
Okay, Mr. Bamidele, I just want to what is actually going on in my head is how can an average Nigerian internet user be getting back what he's spending as data?
That's a big question.
It's not just you going to Twitter, going to Instagram. How will I be getting my money back? Okay, now, and this is where the tech guys, this is a bridge. This tech this is where these tech guys we are referring to as the newest millionaire now. This is where they should come in. But unfortunately, we are losing those guys. Currently, I'm working on an opinion on the impact of private, public-private partnerships and the impact, the role of government in technological advancement in Nigeria. In my research, I discovered that we are losing our tech guys to the Western world, where they will be paid well, where they will be taken care of. And those guys, if they are around in Nigeria, they can tell someone, you can be earning as much as $10 per minute. If you can explore this website, how many websites do I know that I can explore and I'm getting my money back? But we are just spending, getting data, consuming information on anywhere but am I getting back the money? That is the question that is coming, that's actually in my head.
I also want you
now.
I also want you guys to think towards something. There's something important that we need to know. Now, it's fine and good to say, am I making so much money from the internet? But the truth is that people pay so much for data, even in our country. Naturally, data that is supposed to be inexpensive and accessible to anybody, once you can afford a smartphone or a computer or a tablet or something that can connect to the internet. Having data connected to network is it's not even such a big deal. Now, I want to put it to you that there are many people who, despite how much they have their phones, they have their computers, there are some people that do not access the internet for even 24 hours a day just because they cannot afford to buy the recharge card from popular networks to buy data. There are people that have been stranded for days because they tell you they don't have data on their phones, completely cut off from the internet, cut off from the way things are, oblivious of what's going on in the world, just because it's expensive for them to buy internet of 500 naira a day for just to talk 1 gig. I'm coming. There's an item I'm coming now. If we are tilting towards companies like Starlink and Project Kuiper to save us from the issues of poor network services, poor data services, how affordable are these new platforms to Nigerians? Don't you think it's something that we should worry about?
Wait, when the likes of MTN, came on board, you realize that.
Sorry, I have to stop this session. Then we'll bring another link and we can continue because I've been told that I have less than a minute to wrap up this session. I have to share another link for us to begin again in the part 2 of our series. Please don't go away. We'll join in back in a moment, please. So basically now, according to that research, which I told you just some time ago, internet subscribers in Nigeria have been said to consume over 80,000 terabytes. That's about 80 million gigabytes of data per month. Now, we're still talking about that these persons are just 40% of our total population are still not connected, are the ones connected to the internet. So we have almost 25.7 million people, I want to get that data correctly. That's 85.7. As we speak now, 85.7 people have not been connected to the internet, despite all of Nigeria being an internet-savvy country and all of that with the networks. Now, at some point, all the other local networks for SIM cards that sell SIM cards, they have had challenges. People have complained so much about challenges with network. We've seen instances where some mobile phone companies shut down data services for a whole day, despite how critical these data services are to the free flow of life. People use data, for their computers, their phones at work, for research, for buying and selling, for ticketing, and a lot of things. So we know that it's very important. Data is important. So at this point, despite how low the figures are for those using data, when you look at the sharp response of how people spend over 80,000 terabytes of data per month in Nigeria, you can see that market is a huge market for anyone outside of this country to want to key into. Now, we have a total of 193.9 million active cellular mobile phone connections that we had in this country. Users that use cellular mobile networks are over, 193.3, almost getting to a ratio where population is at par with internet usage. Now, so when we look at the price, if we put in essence how much it costs you to get 1 gig of data on a local telephone network, I don't want us to name names, but if we look at most data providers sell data at 500 naira to maybe 2 gigabytes of data. I've seen companies that sell 500 naira for 2.5 gigabytes of data per day. So when we calculate it as against how much people are using per day, you realize that these telecom companies are making a killing. They're making a lot of money. And all of them are just still scrambling for that 14.3% of Nigeria's active economy. All the network providers, you know, from Glo to Airtel, MTN, to Etisalat, everybody is just keying in to that 14%. Now, if you look at demographics that were given by the Senate just before last month's presidential elections, we had a situation on the floor of the assembly where senators argued that there were no network providers in their domains. In the core northeast and most of these countries, there are no network providers there, you know. So many of these people argued. Now, what it just goes to show us now, according to what I believe, is that all those many persons who are not on the grid, who all are not connected, you know, because of maybe their father, where their distance is to any MTN mast or Airtel mast or something, connectivity hasn't gotten there. We look at how these new entrants, Kuiper and Starlink, can bridge the gap, because they do not require any strenuous setup like we used to have, you know, the MTN, the masts we have scattered around Ado-Ekiti and in Lagos too. These gadgets will be run entirely you know, I'm looking for that word, will be run entirely without satellite, you know, without any masts or network masts. These will be running with satellites and they are in space. So I think what this goes further to tell us is that those networks can work in any part of the country as long because it's in orbit. So it means that those persons that are not captured,
low Earth orbit,
yes, those ones that are not captured, you know, those places that have not been hitherto have not been captured will now be captured because of these, you know, these platforms. Now you see how much they'll be making. If people could be spending almost 80 terabytes a month, and we look at the population that it was ascribed to, you see that Nigeria is already a huge market, and that's why we have the Kuiper brand and the Starlink brand already etched in our minds, professional minds in our country. Because the truth is that, like we said last time, everybody wants data. Data is life. Everybody needs data. Once you have a phone, you must buy data, because when you don't have data, it looks like you're cut off from the entire universe. So people must buy. So with more computers, more smartphones, more electronic houses, more Android homes, will come the need for enhanced data services. You know, there will always be the need for enhanced data service. And so when we look at it, at the end of the day, is Starlink worth it? If you calculate how much data you are spending MTN in a month, you can buy MTN for cheap as maybe 3,000 naira and do a data plan that will last a month. Can it also happen with Starlink? Can it happen with Kuiper? You know, those are the big questions that people will really, really want to find out. How affordable are these terminals? A lot of people have questions to ask, and I'm sure this is not going to be the end of this discussion. We're going to have it time and time recurring again. Let's have somebody also air their views.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Tosin, speak up, don't worry.
Okay, thank you so much, Bamidele, for that robust analysis. Now, looking at it, as we were talking, I was actually running, you know, looking at it from this angle that we have to look at the affordability of this new trend, the Project Kuiper by Amazon and the Starlink. And if care is not taken, people will still resolve to buy an MTN data, Airtel data, to getting Project Kuiper. Because if, okay, you just said that anybody can, people in the village, people in the probably forests who are living in the government reserve, you know, they can use it anyway without the help of the mast, like the MTN. But the truth of the matter still remains, can I afford it? How many Nigerians can afford it?
That's the big question.
$500? That's huge. If you convert $5 to naira, you know what that means. And the question remains: what is the percentage of people, more than 200 million people in Nigeria, can afford these new innovations? We appreciate the effort of Amazon, to bridge the gap. Fine, but the truth, the economic reality of Nigeria as it is, and some countries in Africa, is we are still going to be calm. We are still going to be at home, feel at home with the one we've been using. Now, for instance, there is a data plan on the MTN that with 5,000 naira, you can be given as high as 40, 50 gigabytes, and that will be enough for you for a month. Now, how much is that? That is 5,000 naira. How will I reach $500 to get Project Kuiper? That's my own aspect. That's my own view. Actually, looking at what you just said, fine, people can use it anywhere. You can use it in your toilets. You can use it in the forest, anywhere. But can we afford it? Isn't that going to be a disadvantage to the ordinary citizen in Nigeria and some African countries? So this is just my view.
Thank you, Tosin. For me, I would want us to overflow affordability of the two world technological advanced projects. I mean, Project Kuiper and Starlink. We should first appraise the efforts of Starlink, because Starlink is already established. It has different programmers, engineers. It has different what's it called, LEO, already stationed in the space, and it's already working. Although the extension of the coverage has not gotten to the whole wide world, but at least it is pushing in Washington. It's making waves in the US. But for Project Kuiper, the startup for Project Kuiper, when it's going to start, is still under proposal.
Okay.
It is set for 2024 to start, and by 2026 to take off.
Okay, cool.
So for now, I think when we first started having SIM cards in Nigeria, it was very, very costly. You can buy a phone for 20,000 and buy SIM card for 80,000.
I remember that time.
As time goes,
I remember that time.
Today, most internet service providers, they give SIM card for free. Yes, most times they give.
Well, you
buy it after buy airtime from them to make calls. So I think let's just appreciate the fact that we have technological rivals to traditional internet providers worldwide. And this one does, just like Bamidele said, this one does not need the huge technological setup, physical technological setup. You have it in the space already. It's in the orbit. So for me, let us give it time. By 2026, that has been set for Project Kuiper to take off. Starlink must have made some progression that time, some expansion. And the more it expands, the more affordable it becomes.
I want to share the figures.
And there will also be some. Hello?
Yeah, I want to share the figures of Starlink. Now, Starlink, as we speak now, Starlink subscription in Nigeria is 268,584 naira for the hardware. They will now have, for this monthly subscription fee, 19,260 naira for the monthly subscription fee. So we're asking people to cough out the 268,584 naira for the Starlink subscription. It's crazy. But when you look at it, how expensive to be. When you look at how expensive it is.
For those who can afford it.
And
for
then
those who can afford it.
19,260 naira for monthly subscription.
Take for example, it may not be for homes. For now, homes will not be able to afford it. For organizations, government offices, where different services are being provided, where different internet activities is being embarked upon, and they can use that instead of buying data. I can tell you that a lot of there are many offices that use data more than that. There are a lot of organizations use data that are more than what the Starlink is. I mean,
but then the speed they promise can be we can say it's laudable, because when I heard Otumba GT Uju, that's the founder of the GT Foundation, when he spoke about Starlink, and he told us that the speeds are up to 1 gigabyte per second. You know, that's impressive.
And the internet is unlimited.
Unlimited. So you think what you're saying, Yemi, is that it's worth it?
It's not too bad.
Okay.
It's not bad at all. And for organizations that can afford it, then they should go ahead. As time goes by, when we have the likes of other rival companies, other rival technological service providers, come into the market, they are going to lessen the price. Project Kuiper would be a major rival to Starlink. Some other organizations, and we have the best of internet accessibility.
Okay, Tosin, I think Tosin wants to speak.
Yeah, looking at Yemi has said that with competition, Kuiper will have to drop the price of what they sell.
Yeah.
Just as as we have it during this conventional SIM cards, you buy as high as 50,000 naira for a card for a SIM. But in the course of, I'm not cutting out the fact or distancing myself from applauding Project Kuiper or Starlink, but as excited as we can towards these innovations, we just need to look at the practicality of how can we afford this? Fine, we have sophisticated technology all over the world. But my question is, okay, Nigeria, cryptocurrency just came to Nigeria. When was that? When was it? When did it become popular? Probably some years ago. But some guys in the Asia continent, a friend of mine was telling me that I think his account was hacked, and every money in his how they call it, all the cryptocurrency that he has was hacked
into.
Everything was taken away, and my friend was empathizing with him. I said, no. I've saved what can take me for the rest of my life through crypto. Now, can we looking at it, analyzing it, can we envisage the number of years that the guy has been spending doing cryptocurrency, whereas my friend is just starting the last 2-3 years? So it is good to appreciate them, but how can I access it as fast as I can? It's fine, but can I easily get this thing and start maximizing it?
Okay.
Won't I resolve to using what I've been using before and be comfortable with my life instead of giving myself unnecessary economic pressure? So that is my own point of view. It's fine when the competition all over the world come and we have people from the United States and are having same innovation. Okay, Starlink would have to drop their price. Project Kuiper will have to drop their price. But at the same time, we have to think as an ordinary Nigerian, as ordinary Africa.
So the more consumers of that data in itself, the more people will have using it.
Absolutely.
To what Tosin said.
Please go ahead.
You see, when we think as Nigerians, we have to face the reality, but we also must think like global citizens. Yes, we are first Nigerians
before any other thing. Yes.
Yes. Now, in the world of globalization, we are global citizens. Don't forget, Starlink and Project Kuiper, they're investing big. Elon Musk is investing big. Elon Musk and his partners, they are investing big into Starlink. About $20 to $30 billion is being invested into satellite orbiting Earth.
Okay.
And we can't expect, as of now, they are just starting. It was launched in 2015. So 8 years down the line, people expect them to just bring the price down. You understand my point? So there is a process to everything. Already we have about 3,000 satellites in space. We have 400,000 global subscribers. So as time goes by, you know, the statistics will increase. And when the statistics increases, you realize that they will also, you know, they will also decrease. They will tone down the level of payment.
Do you think
they are still trying hard to make the technology, you know, well established?
Well, do you think?
So they need more.
Do you think that Starlink and every other, you know, internet provider that is not terrestrial type, do you think that it's something to be excited about? Starlink, Kuiper, all of these networks with the speed they possess, and do you think it's something to look forward to? You know, look up to. Is this something that people should be excited about? Having a network that it's so expensive, but at the end of the day, there's unlimited data on one side, and we have how expensive it is on one side, and you know, it's always tough making these choices, especially as Nigerians. But the truth is that, like I said, everybody wants good internet, everybody wants high-speed internet, you know. But then
uninterrupted internet,
uninterrupted supply, you know, everybody wants it. But when we look at it, how many people can really afford to part away with almost 400,000 naira above to buy hardware for internet? You know, it's not that most people will, like you said, companies earlier on, but you know that some of these network providers are using now, one of the way they warm their self into our hearts is because most people use the internet at home. Because we also have to think about the demographics. That you hardly see people stay overnight in their offices. Everybody retires to their home. Most persons that work so hard wait till they get home to switch on their phone, to start browsing. You know, but if you're in an office and you have access to internet, you switch on your phone because there's access to internet. What do you want? But then, you know, we're in a situation where we just have to understand, take into cognizance the fact that not everybody will be able to afford that over 400 and something thousand for the hardware for any of these products. We just have to face reality, even as lovely as it sounds. I don't know if you get my drift. Yeah. So when you look at that data, you know, people want internet. You know, people want so much data. They want internet access. We have 193.9 million cellular mobile connections active in Nigeria alone as at early this year. So basically, what does this tell us? It's so plain and pure and simple. Nigerians understand that they need internet. You know, people that really buy data, you know, when we look at data, 8,000 terabytes a month, it's a huge market. It's a huge market, no doubt about it. Nigerians will really love to have uninterrupted high-speed internet. We love it. They want unlimited data. But how many Nigerians are willing to part away with the machine that costs as much as, I want to get the price here. It's cost as much as Starlink will cost 438,000 naira. That's at the current parallel market exchange. That's not even black market exchange. For you to buy the machine, just like we buy other modems, 5,000, 6,000. For you to buy Starlink, you have to have a cool 500,000 naira, and well, you pay subscription of wow, of 31,390 naira per month. Wow.
Amazon, so is that one? Is that monthly?
Oh, that's for Starlink. That's for Starlink. But Amazon is saying that that's for Starlink, for the machine. Amazon said the phone is around $400. Still expensive.
Let me make this contribution.
Okay, please let me.
Okay.
Let me make this contribution. You see, nothing good comes easy.
Okay.
We make arguments that earlier on I mentioned that you know, the developmental stages for technology for technology of any nation requires 5 different stages. I made mention of the resisting stage. I made mention of the exploring stage, of the playing stage, digital players, of digital transformers, and technology destructive and the innovation stage. You see, Africans and other least developed countries, LCDs, they cannot develop until you pay the price.
Okay.
Let us be ready to pay this price. We want to bridge the technological divide, the technological gap between the global north and the global south. When I talk of the global south, I mean countries in Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and the Caribbean.
Okay.
See, you talk of the global south as countries in the, what's it called? The Japans, the Germany, all these technologically developed countries, they paid the price. And technology has become the bedrock of all the sectors in those countries. You go to their oil sector, it is technology. You go to their health, it is technology. Education hospital, it is technology. And so we must pay the price. And don't forget that by 2030, the disruptive innovation technologies would have taken over. Currently, we have, by the data with me, we have about $40 trillion on the satellite technology. And so by 2030, 7 years now, we'll be having $210 trillion. So where would Africa be? Where would Nigeria be?
To share,
we are not
to share in that huge pot of money accruing from the internet.
Ideas. So if we keep on resisting, if we keep on making argument that this thing is costly, that means we are resisting. You understand? We are still resisting technology. We are still, being explorative. We want to have, affordable data. We want to fund away on social media. We just want to, use it without paying the price. When you pay the price for something, you want to use it for innovations.
Yeah.
If you are paying it for, I'm not supporting very costly or expensive data now or internet accessibility. I'm just saying it. If you are paying 200,000 for it now, you want to use it judiciously. You want to, get a result, a viable result from what you are paying for. And so as time goes by, when competition comes into the market, the prices is going to be
changed.
The price is going to be lesser. You understand my point?
Okay, please go ahead.
For me, I think
please.
whatever Africans can do, whatever developing countries can do to access, to be part of this, to play along in this technological advancement, is what we should do. We shouldn't be left behind. We shouldn't just keep exploring. Just keep resisting.
Fine.
So, you understand me?
Okay.
If somebody it is not that the prices were different. If somebody in the US is paying, Africans too, if you have the money, you should pay. So you access the same technology.
Opportunities. The same opportunities for knowledge.
So, data equality.
Data equality.
You understand my point? Internet equality. So you are bridging the gap. Whatever anybody in the US can access is what you can also access.
I think I tilt towards that reasoning because we also have to tap into that huge pot of foreign exchange that ICT and tech provide. Tosin has something he wants to say.
Yes. Thank you, Bamidele. Now, if we are analyzing based on what we've experienced, that is not resistance. We are analyzing based on pedigree, based on history. We don't
based on innate
that is it.
Character traits
based on
over
that
time.
Is who we are. If I have the money, I'm going to buy this thing.
Replace quantity, affordability over necessity.
In the next 20 years, we see some people, even if they have the money, they still want to prefer buying data from ATM, buying data from. So we are talking, we are basing our arguments on history, on pedigree, on what we know ourselves to. It is not that we are resisting. If you do have the money, you're going to get it. If I do have, if Bamidele has the money, he's going to get it. But we are talking on a broader analysis, on a broader look. This is our territory. This is our society. How many people in Nigeria have system, computer system? Even in Lagos, some people still don't have system. Some people still call you, I'm in Lagos. They will say, please, do you have a system? Do you bring your system? They don't have. And then, do you want to tell me that they are not exposed enough? They do, but they don't still have it. Because they see it as, what am I using system to do? But they don't know that it's a prerequisite. It's what you should have. It's a normal thing that you should have in your home.
Tosin, let me cut you short. That means they are not well exposed. That means
that's your own view. But
yes,
my own view is Bamidele said it's an innate thing.
Anybody who is well exposed, I mean exposure relatively now. Anybody who is well exposed these days must be computer literate, must have a computer.
Yes.
Technology is one of the yardsticks for development.
I do understand. Being exposed is choice. You can be in USA and still be local in your mind. Are you with me?
That's true.
But we are talking about Nigeria. We are talking about Africa. We try to emotionalize what we believe in,
or rationalize what we
want to
even see.
leave this thing. I don't want to change. That is who we have. If I have systems, not just one. Like, I want to get this, I have it. Because I just know that if this thing is not working for me fast, I get another one. They gave one to me in office. I said, so I don't think I need it. Let me just go with this. That one is even touch screen. But some people, they don't just want to get it. They don't. So that we are not trying to like distance ourselves from this new trend.
Yes.
But we are just basing our argument on the historical facts.
So because if I get you correctly and I get our arguments, our arguments and our submissions correctly, it's a huge. What we're saying is that it's a blessing that it's a huge advantage that we can have data providers like Amazon's Kuiper and Starlink in the country.
Absolutely.
The endless, at least we can be part of the endless information that an unlimited data service will give us as a country. But how many persons are willing to go the extra mile or pay the price? Yes, companies you'll be actually pointed out, companies will really buy all of these. Companies that want to survive, that thrive on connectivity, will afford and procure those the modems and all that, the facilities. Companies that want to thrive will also buy the facility, but common person on the street, the average person, who could have made a lot of money from IT or tech with a very strong internet connection, can be faced with the reality that, hey, if you try this, you'll be successful. But because of that innate personality of being Nigerian and where they are, they will shun, the Nigerian will likely shun these appliances, coupled with the knowledge that this appliance might make me rich, but they just shun it and say, well, God will provide. If I don't get this one, I'll get another one. And year in, year out, we now see that Nigeria, despite our brilliance and our ingenuity, we've hardly even taken a teaspoonful out of the huge cake, the huge dollars that the internet gives people every day.
Bamidele, please, I want to just chip in this.
Okay.
Now, a friend of mine who is a veterinary doctor, he gave a IQ performance of continents. And he discovered that Africa is behind. He gave me the statistics, the graphical representation. When he now sent it on WhatsApp status, I now replied him. I said, you said Africa is maintaining the back seat. I don't agree with you. Because if we do have the same level of quality education Europeans have, African people do to have it. What US have as education, we have the same. You can't tell me that Africa will be at the back seat. It's not possible. Because if Africans get a scholarship abroad, they usually break record of 400 years.
Yes.
Now, this is the problem. That's the problem. If we are prone to change this, our ability to go with new trend fast, we'll be on the same path, on the same pedestal with all these developed countries. But my argument is this, Olayemi. The innate, this now here we did, and I don't feel leave this place. That spirit is really affecting us. That's the problem. We need to just shift our mindset.
if
paradigm shift.
I think where we are coming from now, I think we are all on one page. I think that's a huge opportunity that we can have data providers like Amazon's Kuiper. We can have data providers like Starlink. You know, I foresee the limitless amount of, you know, data that we can get from the internet in real time. You know,
Bamidele, please.
real time.
Bamidele,
But
please.
Nigerians, apart from knowing, even though they know, most people will still not want to take advantage or refuse. You know, it's an innate character to not want to take advantage of this opportunity. So what we are saying here, in essence, is that the cost does not matter. The opportunities that these machines will provide are limitless. And is that what we are saying?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
let me chip in something.
Okay, please.
To buttress what you said. You see, Tosin has made the points in the head. You see, there is what we call hedonistic principle or hedonistic theory.
Okay.
It means that when you are able to get the reward for the cost, you will not mind the cost.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I quite understand, yes.
Yes, if you are paying for pleasure and you are able to satisfy that pleasure to the utmost height, you would not mind whatever you are paying. Yes, hedonistic principle. So for me, if you will see that before we started, before it was this Samsung, all these phones without internet that was all over the places.
Back then, yes.
And over time, you have a BlackBerry. Over time, you have Android. You have
the advancements started to happen in the
iPhone.
Yeah, that's how people followed the trend. You hardly, aside from in the local areas now, in Lagos, if you put those using internet-connected phones on statistics, I'm sure we are going to have at least 60–70%.
If not 90%.
Smartphones, yes, who use these smartphones still have internet connected phones too.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand me. So you realize that Nigerians will go with the trend. Aside from the fact that we need a change of orientation, just from exploring the internet, you see people using the internet to watch porn, to watch comedies. I'm not saying entertainment is good. You understand? And
Nigerians spend too much time on
yes, internet. Can choose, right? And you know, we have democracy of internet too. You understand? And so that gives us the absolute. They call it absolutism. The world of internet has given every individual, you know, you can watch anything from whichever part of the world you are. But you see, we need to become a major player in the advancement of technology. You understand? And I think the more accessible we are to the internet or the internet to us, the more we begin to think, how can I do this? But when we just keep buying, we'll just be making markets for internet providers, internet service providers. Yeah, like Nigerians and all of that. But for me, if not because of the internet, you will not have remote works.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, we're having a Zoom meeting now, and we're in our 3 different places. We're having a meeting right now.
Yeah.
And we've been on this meeting for over an hour now, and it's consuming data. Yes. It's consuming data.
Yes. So
how much more?
What if in our individual places now, Tosin is in Lagos, I'm in Ekiti, Bamidele is somewhere. What if we have access to unlimited internet?
Yes.
You can see we've had this meeting 2, 3, 4. I think this will be the 4th or the 3rd time now.
We're having
if the internet had been unlimited, we would have had it uninterruptedly. Exactly. You understand me?
Exactly, you're right.
For Africans to be developed in terms of communication, the communication sector, banking, games, happy living, transport, finances, we need to go as far. We need to move with the trend of things, in the internet of things. You understand me?
Yes.
What the argument of Tosin.
Yeah, but Bamidele, please, before we go, I just want us as you said, this analysis will continue. It can't stop here
to
because
developing
we need to start.
subjects.
Yeah, we should start exploring how can Africa be alive to all these new trends?
New trends.
How can we change? What can we do to make us change? Because this is a mentality that has been built for years. In fact, it's a generational mentality, generational trace. So what can we be doing at this point in time to catch up, to catch those opportunities and be on the same pedestal? Because me, I don't believe an American is brighter than I do.
I
It is
agree.
as a result of the environment that he is and the opportunity that he has. I mean, I don't have it. Number one, no conducive environment. Number two, the innate stubbornness to just go ahead and catch up with new trends. It's a challenge. But the question now we should be asking ourselves is, how can we come out of this pit of stagnation in terms of getting things, getting alongside with what is going on in the world? In the 1970s, people have been using digital something all over the world. We are still here doing the coming out from Stone Age. So I think we should use this platform to start analyzing, exploring what we can do.
It's interesting to know that I've been to some universities in the 21st century that still use paper for filing and documentation.
Most Nigerian universities still do it.
You see, have huge files. Well, I think at the end of the day, we need to understand that it's important that we disseminate this information and also let people know. People need to really know that we really need to catch. It's a moving train, and we really need to hop on it. We really need to hop on it fast. I think one of the ways that people can realize that this is the train, it's a one-way train, is to see other role models, to see others who have applied, who have used this infrastructure for their benefits. I think people love seeing, we want to see someone, who's like them, succeed, who has prospered also, around them and all that, and they want to be like, so people really need to see, we need to have models, people who have used these appliances and have gotten better. People learn more when they see somebody doing it. I think that's what we should. I think that's why we should not stop our advocacy at Remotework. Let's do more engagements, because the truth is that the ICT industry is really paying off. It's paying off. It's paying. Of course. People are making so much money. Last year December, the market for labor for remote work grew to almost $50 billion. And we raised a big question there. Remember, we said, how does Nigeria get its own share of this money? It's so, but you see, just to buttress your point, we have that kind of money in the kitty to make. Nigerians are not even interested, to train their wards, train their children, so they also can benefit from this large market, But I think it's our duty to keep on educating and informing the people on why they really need to study, really need to study the market, we need to study all of these appliances. Let's know the best one we can use. Let's know what we can do. While we also serve as watchdogs, let's do our part. We need to, in the next couple of meetings we have, we should start to highlight the benefits of this data infrastructure, this data equipment. We need to start, talking about them, detailed analysis of how good they are. It's an average family, how much you need to, for you to need to use Starlink as an average family person or a worker, how much do you spend on data per month on Starlink? So these are some of the things that I believe that we should be doing in the course of our subsequent analysis and reportage. Somebody else has something else to say, so we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think there are a lot of factors. We must not deny the fact that there are lots of factors that are denying Nigerians or Africans, people, the population in the developing countries to accessing internet. Talking of poverty. There is high level of poverty. I want to go back to the argument that Tosin was making earlier. there is poverty. Somebody who has not eaten, would you tell that person to go and buy data? 300 naira for 1 gig.
Buy and get Kuiper.
It's cheaper. But when we look at all of the fluctuations that come with all of the telephone mobile networks, sometimes people having
and sometimes you even have the data and the internet will not be
the data
connected.
doesn't connect.
Yeah.
Yes. That happens many times. It happens a
So,
lot of times.
for me, I would say that the global citizens, not just the Nigerian government or the global power, the major powers in the world, must begin to advocate for internet accessibility as a fundamental human right. Yes.
Okay. That's
yes.
also
Until we get to that
Just like good roads,
Like
electricity.
yes. Until we get to that point, we will not, we'll continue to have gaps. And my fear is this. My fear is this now. With the likes of internet, of Starlink and Project Kuiper, if Africans and the developing countries are not keen into this, it will widen the gap, the technological gap between these countries.
Between the Western and the third world.
Yes, it will widen it because those people will continue to fire on, and will continue to explore. We'll just continue to explore and enjoy, and that is not good for us.
That's not the
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think on the final note, I think we've been able to lay bare some points. We'll come to this agreement that having these alternate sorts of data, it's a welcome development. But then how many people, I think the narrative is how many people are willing to embrace, the new data providers because of their larger than life delivery, the larger than life infrastructure and company and all that. The fact alone that we have a situation where we don't need to pay daily, for data used is basically maybe an allowance paid on it, subscription paid on it before it gets up and starts going. And a lot of people have advocated that here, back in the days, because it's so unfortunate. Sometimes you are connected to a mobile network, you are trying to use data, 10, 15 minutes after you switch on the data, it's not coming up again. You're trying to call customer care and all of this. I think Starlink and Project Kuiper will be changing the narrative, and we can see changing the narrative. And we really appeal that to Nigerians that with this development, it's important, for everybody to be interested in that ICT dollar. It's a huge market, a very huge market. And just like one of the times Tubaje was speaking to me, it's a huge market, and they have not even filled the quota for recruitment. It has not been filled. So it's one thing that we have to ask people now to go out and procure. They should get the Starlink or the Kuiper. Let's take advantage of the opportunities inherent in that software. Let's take advantage of the opportunities inherent in that infrastructure. We on our end, let's continue to do more awareness, let's do more advocacy, so we can preach to people that the opportunities are limitless. We have not even filled the quota for recruitment. We still have, out of the 100% quota for remote works, as it stands, Nigeria has not been exhausted up to 30% of the remote work quota, global remote work. We're talking about millions of dollars in employment, sitting down, waiting for people to fill those gaps. It's a huge market. And I pray that we can only hope and pray that Nigerians will wake up and they cut a slice of the pie. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Bamidele.
Well, on the final note, it's glad to have you on the program. Let's hope that wishing you guys fruitful deliberations, and let's have more analysis. Let's have more stories. Let's have more things to post or remote or do. Have a wonderful day. Tosin, Yemi, bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bamidele.